actually in, where you think? Washington, D.C. has the highest ratio where 28% of businesses are black. So that was also an interesting fact. African Americans make up more than 13% of the U.S. right, population. However, we only own about 7% of businesses. In the immediate aftermath of COVID pandemic, upward of 41% of all black-owned businesses in America closed. That is an amazing fact to know. Did y'all hear what I just said? 41% of all black businesses after the pandemic closed. You know, that's a lot, right? And amazing. And they closed their doors versus 20%, you know, of all the other businesses, right? So all businesses experience 20% versus black businesses experience 41% closure. One of the other interesting facts, I think we have what? We have the MWBE table over there. We talked about, you know, the stuff that we're trying to get more and more business being certified, MWBE certified. So I wanted to see what their scorecard is, right? So I pulled up the scorecard from the controller's office about how well did they do as far as providing contracts to black businesses. And the bottom line is they got an F rating. We have $7.2 billion in total MWBE eligible spending. 39% of that went to construction, 22% on professional service, 25% on standard service, and 14% on other goods. The city agency, if you was to compare against other, minority businesses, we have the Asian that has the highest grade with a B grading. And what the grading means is that how much percent or how many contracts did they get, MWBE contracts. So they have the best grades within the minority section. And then we have a D grading for Hispanics, and we have a D grading for women-owned businesses. And of course, as I said, the city has been wavering between a D and a D minus for the last how many years, and an F. Of course, because the pandemic had a big impact on why many of the black businesses was not awarded MWBE contracts. But of course, we have a lot of work to do. So I wanted to start with that reference as far as the data and the statistics so we can understand why it's such a struggle, why it's so hard for black businesses. The data is right in your face, right? So why? So what are some of the challenges? So I wanted to talk about that next. One of the things that the Malls NYC did during the pandemic, we partnered with the Black Institute. And we did a survey to basically assess the businesses and what are some of their challenges. And by no surprise, we saw that folks trying to access capital, trying to get clients or customers, and trying to get contract was the biggest challenge that they face. So those are the top three challenges for black business: access to capital, clients, and contracts. So I call it the 3 C's, right? They are struggling with that. Those are definitely a challenge. And of course, the challenge has always been, right, which is very real, is racism. Racism, discrimination, and predatory lending are all factors because many aspiring black businesses owners have been unfairly, I know this has happened to me, unfairly turned down by banks when applying for small businesses, right? So it's very hard for them to have access to capital because we are unfairly turned down many, many times. to get capital. Another factor and another challenge for us black business is the lack of economic and business resources in our communities, right? So a lot of times, especially in Southeast Queens, that's one of the reasons we, created malls in Southeast Queens. The resources was just not there. There were a lot in Manhattan, the other sides of Queens, but there was not many resources for black businesses. And so that was one of the things that malls tried to do to kind of bring those resources to our community. And of course, that's one of the challenges. Of course, that's going to lead, without those resources, it leads to the lack of education on how to properly start and manage a successful business. A lot of people, we have creative ideas in, the black community. We have entrepreneurial spirit, but a lot of them just don't have the education and know the know-how